Hello, I'm Jake Boudreau, civic journalist at Tello Community Television. In this episode of Strait Talk, I attended the official sod-turning ceremony for the new long-term care and healthcare facility in Arichat, which took place on May 28th at the construction site. After the ceremony, a reception was held at St. Anne Community Nursing Care Center in Arichat, with speeches from those involved in the project, like Administrator Lynn LeBlanc, Board Chair Margaret Ann Landry, Richmond MLA and Energy Minister Trevor Boudreau, and Leon Benoit, Senior Project Manager with Collier's Project Leaders. I then spoke with LeBlanc, Boudreau, and Benoit, as well as Richmond Warden Lois Landry, to get their reactions to this milestone.
Well, I just wanted to start off by thanking everybody for coming. We just came back from the site, and I think I have the imprint of the helmet in my head. I kept screwing it tighter and tighter for some reason. But when you're down there and you see how big the facility is, like when you're driving by and you look at it, you think, wow, that's pretty amazing. But when you're down there and you're amongst the people that are working and amongst the people that put all that hard work into it, it's kind of surreal. Because for us, this has been like a 3-year, 3-month, few days journey. Like, so this was proposed to us several years back and had to be, are you ready to go? And of course we were. It's such an amazing, like, I don't know, I can't even explain how I felt down there today, because I literally see it all the time. I drive by, I follow pictures on Facebook, and just to kind of feel like this is officially starting off. So just wanted to tell you that just, it's amazing. So I just want to welcome everybody to this special occasion as we officially celebrate the construction of our new long-term care facility. We're incredibly grateful for the province and seniors in long-term care for fully supporting this much-needed project for our residents and community. Our home is extremely homey, but very outdated. For the residents to be able to have a private room, share some other common areas means so much. The new center will provide them with a home-like experience, which is one of the things that we wanted to keep in the new building. We know it was going to be bigger, but we also wanted it still to feel the closeness and the homeness that I think people, when they come in, that's what they experience. And then for them to have their own private rooms, like, you would not believe how exciting that is, to not have to share a bathroom with 4 other people. So that means a lot to the residents. That's going to come up. And we are extremely fortunate to get to celebrate the construction of a new UTC. When we were, awarded funding for a new building, it came with a little mixed emotions, because we thought, okay, that's fantastic, but we come as a package. So whatever the UTC, what do you really do? So we want to, say thank you for everybody that supported that project as well. It wasn't easy, and especially to the project managers that probably didn't know what they were getting into when they were building a nursing home. It was also an acute care facility, so thank you for that. So along with seniors long-term care, the province and Trevor, we wanted to thank Collier's, project leaders for managing this project. It's been 3 years, and managing a project with a nurse that doesn't know anything about construction. Thank you for your patience. For FMA for designing a beautiful facility. I go in the news and I see other facilities and they are beautiful, but for some reason I feel like ours sticks out. Ours is pretty special. And then for Iron Maple for constructing the new building, and as well as Brylan. It's taken a lot of work, like I said, 3 years, 3 months, and so many days to get here. But here we are today, and I'm sure everybody will, contest that. Everybody here at St. Anne Center is so excited to see our vision come, to reality. So just thanks everybody for coming, and just excited to see where this takes us.
So, Lynn, I noticed when you were talking about it, you seemed to be a little, I wouldn't say emotional, but it seemed to be like a touching milestone that you guys have reached this point.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been, like I said, for some people, wow, the facility is starting to be built. But for us, this has been 3 years in the making. So we have started 3 years ago, picking a project manager, coming up with the construction design. Like it takes a lot of work, and it hasn't been smooth sailing all the way. So to kind of see it come to light and to be down there amongst everybody working, it was emotional because for me, I realized how important this is going to be for the community and for the residents because our facility is aging. So it'll be nice for them to have a nice.
It's much needed for sure. And you know, you mentioned that it's a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
Just running this facility alone is a lot on your plate. But then when you're having to do this, it you know, it is a lot. But I guess in the end,
yeah, it's definitely worth it. But I will say, Collier's project leaders have been fantastic. They are project managers, and without them, certainly we wouldn't be right here. They've been so good and supportive. But it is a lot of work because we want to make sure that they are listening to the things that you need and the things that you want. And they've been very good to do that. But it's really being involved, and it takes a lot of time. But it'll be totally worth it for sure.
and so after this, where's the project going to go? What's the timeline right now? They're pouring the foundations, and that's, I assume, going to take some time. And
Yes.
maybe if you can like look ahead in the weeks and months ahead of us.
I certainly can't really comment as far as where their milestones are going to be. I think they want to be winter tight faster for like going into the winter, like for this year at the end of 2025. So they can actually start inside the building. And construction is supposed to be complete around November of 2026. But then there's that whole change movement for us. So we hope to be in the building by early 2027 because it's going to be an adjustment for everybody to move over. Staff have to learn how to work in the new facility. It's going to be a lot of training for our maintenance staff. But yeah, and then moving all our residents over. So we're hoping to be in the facility early 2027.
And then once the shell is done, they're pouring the foundation out. They're going to build a shell,
Yeah.
but then that's where the intricate work really starts to make it into a healthcare facility.
That's right.
The wiring and the plumbing and all among those things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, very, very exciting is our new urgent treatment center. So it'll be exciting for that to happen.
Okay, bon après-midi tout le monde. Good afternoon, everyone. As you can tell, it's written all over my face how excited we are to be here. As we've been part of this board since the beginning, we've been here, and it's been pretty exciting. At first, we found out we were having a new build. It had been posted on a list by one government, and then October came and there was a new government. And it was a little scary at first, but it's all good. On behalf of the board, I want to sincerely thank all of those who have helped us and guided us along this journey. It's been quite a journey. But more important, I want to take a minute to thank our CEO, Lynn. She's had a lot on her plate. This new project, very exciting, but it loaded up her plate, and she's taken it like a trooper. So my time on the board is just about come to an end, but St. Anne Center does hold a special place in my heart. So I won't be far, and I will be watching.
So Lois, yeah, this is a big day. It's a milestone. It's a big deal. It's an emotional day for a lot of people. You know that this is coming to fruition. And what's your reaction?
Well, certainly on behalf of the municipality, we're just so, we want to offer our sincere congratulations to the staff here, including Lynn in particular, but to the board for all the things that they've done. So we're just so, want to be congratulatory, but really just so grateful for the work that they've done on behalf of the residents. And it really is on behalf of the residents. And several that we've had, my grandparents went. So, there are so many of us in Richmond County and Alameda who are so moved by the fact that people that we care about get to stay in the community, get to stay in the community, French is spoken, when math is celebrated, because that's what is important to me. So we're so grateful to the board and to the staff, particularly for, all they did slugging along in those 3.5 years, but really for fighting the good fight on behalf of residents and on behalf of prospective residents. So this room that we're in right now is a new addition to the St. Anne Centre, relatively speaking. But this room is something they really fought for and they built, because this is what makes this building a sense of community. And I have heard some people say, gosh, I wish there were more people, like, more rooms for more residents. But I really think that there's so much vision in terms of maintaining a size that allows it to remain a community. So, my dad spent his last month here. My mother-in-law is still here. I got married 2 years ago, and I'm married in this new home. And it was because this is a so many congratulations and a deep, deep sense.
There's value to having your own room. And I can say that from personal experience. Your father was here, my grandmother was here, and it's kind of, having to share a room is kind of, it's hard to get settled in. And having your own space in your own area, they can't be talked about enough, I guess.
Oh, 100%. My aunt is at the villa. So having left here after my dad died and starting to make the visits at the villa, it really is nice to be able to have someone in their own space. And I remember when my parents went on vacation, it wasn't odd for them to have two couples sharing the same room. But those of us who are kind of a little younger, but headed here someday, we're used to more individualized spaces. So, I remember my dad being okay with sharing space, but I to be perfectly honest. And I see my aunt in her own space, but like I was here while, COVID was, over, but we were still seeing outbreaks in Norwalk and coronavirus and all of the things, RSV. There were times where if my father's roommate had something that was contagious, COVID, RSV, he had to stay in the room with the person who was sick. So that's no fault of the staff. That was just the best they could do in a room that had two people sharing a bathroom with two other people. So the ability to for infection control it's a new world in terms of safety for residents. But in order to not see that sense of shifting away from a sense of community, so I think like the St. Anne Centre board and staff has done here is really married on those two things. So how do we give the individual people for infectious control reasons, but also just for for your own dignity of having your own space, but at the same time maintain a sense of community.
Thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Margaret Ann, and thank you for the opportunity to say a few words here today. And really, it's been an interesting time over the last 3 years, and a bit to see this get to fruition. And I say interesting in part because there's always these ups and downs with this side of it, and being part of government that has taken a leadership role in terms of identifying some of the challenges in long-term care and wanting to solve some of those issues. And there are issues. There's issues all over healthcare. There's issues with infrastructure. There's issues all over the place. But this is a government that has been active on that file. And I know the Premier and Minister Adams would have loved to have been here. And of course, the Premier sends his regrets. He was here, I think, in November to make sure that the community knew we were very serious about this project, in part because we recognize how important it is to small communities. We announced there was an open house to one of the new facilities in Halifax yesterday, and this government has been very active in trying to present that. But like small communities and being able to have a facility like this in our region holds a special place. And I think we've had a beautiful building here that's been well maintained for many years and has served its purpose very, very well. But recognizing there's a time and a place to have some change, and recognizing, with respect to long-term care and the challenges that came with COVID, understanding some of the needs that are there, and that I believe is what this facility will certainly bring. I do really want to say thank you, and Lynn will say, yeah, she doesn't have a lot of credit, but really, the team, but also the board, because it really is. This is different than some of the other facilities in the province that don't necessarily have a local board or community board that are involved. And so this is a lot on a plate of a community and a board of directors that has managed a wonderful facility here, but also now looking at how to move forward. And so thank you to the board of directors, thank you to the staff, and thank you to the residents for your patience. I know sometimes it can be stressful when there's change, but being down on that site and being able to see, I was talking with some of the workers there while we were there, and what a view. Imagine my home. If I had a home with a view like that, I'd be pretty excited. So lots on the go there, and certainly it's nice to see construction finally happening. But this is part of a full strategy, and I just wanted to kind of highlight some of the things that this government has been doing. Just in the eastern zone alone, there'll be 1,210 new or replacement spaces. And in the province itself, we had originally committed to 3,500 new or replacement beds. That number is now up close to 5,700. 650 of which have already been built, and about 2,000 are in construction right now. So we're well on our way. There's about 50 facilities being built, or plans being built across this province. And so a recognition of the stress and the challenges we put on the trades as well, because trying to find tradespeople to do all of these projects is certainly a challenge. So I recognize certainly the construction companies who are involved with this as well. But really, this is a special facility in terms of long-term care, but also, and it was highlighted, but having the other facilities here, we're a unique facility here in terms of having that full outreach and that full complement, whether it's the diabetes education side of it, whether it's X-ray and lab, whether it's the UTC, but all of that is such an important part of this facility now, and it's so nice to know that it will continue to be in the future. So a credit to, again, Lynn and team, and for making sure that continued as part of it. And I was just really pleased and honored to be part of this in a small little way, and looking forward to seeing the full building, and we'll certainly drag the premier down for when we do the opening itself. So thank you again, and look forward to celebrating the milestones as we get through this over the next little bit. Thank you.
When you were talking, you mentioned how the premier came down during the election, and it was important for you that he articulate how important it is for your government to go through with this because of the importance of the community. And that was something that you wanted to get the message across, that this was important to you guys, and this was a big item on the agenda for this area.
Absolutely. I mean, look, we have a lot going on in Richmond County, but certainly we treasure our loved ones. And so, we want to make sure they're in a place that's safe and has what they need. And this long-term care facility, as it's been presented and as we've seen the drawings, was an incredible building. And it's about meeting the needs of people. And this was important for me. It was important for the residents here. And it was really important that I made sure the premier knew that. And he came down to kind of express absolutely that he was 100% behind this project. So it was great for him to see it too and understand why, and get to spend some time with the community to understand what this meant to us.
Now, this was something that's been on your desk since you became MLA. And what's your feelings when you can see the bases being built and things are really happening there? What's your reaction when you see them?
It's you think about all the hard work that went into it, and I don't want to take any of the credit for the hard work. Lynn and her staff and the board had a lot of discussions and decisions to make on what it is they wanted it to be. Had to present that to long-term care and work back and forth with them to find the best solution for this area. And so I was just happy to be a big part of it, and to support Lynn and the team. But really, when you start seeing things, groundbreaking, that's when you know it's real. So I think it brings a realization to the community that this is happening, and that's important. I mean, we can have a vision, and expect to see it, but until you see it happening, but it's exciting, right? Like, you talk to anybody in the community, and I think you see people slow down when they drive by because they want to see the progress, and it's in a space where everybody can see it. So it's not hidden away. So it'll be fun for people for the next number of months to see look like a building, and it, you know, hopefully this fall it'll look like a real building, I think.
Yeah, and interesting you bring that up because that leads me to what I was going to ask you about. So they're on the timeline. Everything looks like it's going ahead, sticking to the schedule. And in the months ahead, we're going to be seeing more of that building going up. And it looks like everything's going the way it should be. Fingers
Yeah, and look, I mean, there's always snags with anything, but it seems like everything is moving according to plan. And you know, like I think they have a great team here. I think we're really happy with the workmanship and the amount of effort and time they're putting into it. And I think they have a lot of pride in this project. When I talk to some of the workers there who say, you know, like it doesn't have a boxy feel. Like we're excited to see something that's going to feel like a home and feel like it's part of the community. So I think they're excited to kind of move it forward too. So I think maybe that gives them a little bit of extra drive. Who knows? But it's great.
I kind of wanted, I'd ask Leon maybe if he could kind of explain to everybody that's here, like, where is the driveway? Where is all, like, what way is facing the facility? Like, what way is it facing? Like, those kind of things, because I've answered a few questions. I hope I'm correct. But anyway, I'm just saying. So, because when you walk by, when you drive by, people are asking me, is that the front of the building? Is that the front of the building? So, as you can see on the loop, you'll see kind of how things started.
Yeah, so for the people that went to site, where we were taking the pictures, you'd be looking down. The first thing you're kind of going to see is the UTC. And that was basically a decision that was made by the project team that the UTC should be visible by the road so that people know where to get their care. Then the home was positioned in a way to maximize the view for the residents. So sort of a Y shape, and you got a Y shape coming in, but the home and it was kind of tilted to maximize the view. So your front entryway and the walk up to the thing. So when people are coming to visit their relatives and stuff, the main entryway, you're seeing the view of the stuff. And the whole idea was the resident living, and the architect's not here, but I'll explain his vision that we talked about. Is if you're there to visit a loved one, you're able to take them out to the front entryway and walk down towards the water, and the spaces were kind of tilted that way as well. If in the winter months, the windows are maximized to look at the harbor. It's sort of the kind of thing. Then the back of house stuff that nobody's really interested in is tucked down in that corner that where that rock faces kind of is. So that's where like the back of house, you know, the operation stuff. And the parking was kind of tucked away from the view as well. With, you know, the parking just, well, there's the main entrance there. So like that is sort of like when you come in the driveway, you come down, you'd have to kind of hang a right to go to the UTC. And the rooms itself, these renderings are very important, kind of show that the rooms themselves are designed to the new province of Nova Scotia standard to be resident feeling, you know, soft colors, not institutionalized, really like it's an apartment.
Maybe first I'll get your name and title and
Yep.
your role in this whole project.
Sure. Leon Benoit with Collier's Project Leaders, Senior Project Manager. I'm the project manager representing St. Anne on this project to help with the design and construction throughout the project from start to end. We engaged the designer, which is FMA from Darren Mentionson out of Newfoundland on that. That took around, I would say around 18 months of on this ballpark there now. Of the design, yeah.
So what was your role? When did you get involved?
We were involved about 3 years ago, early on. It was one of the first steps to represent St. Anne in this process of getting funding, secured funding, and getting through the process of the design, hiring the designer, FMA, doing all the procurement and managing the design process, managing the procurement of the tender package, which was successful environment.
Now, when you were speaking, you were kind of trying to show people where everything's going to be. So it looks like the entrance is going to be facing the harbor. Is that?
The entrance is somewhat facing the harbor, but it's perpendicular to a road. So when you come down, your perpendicular road where the harbor's kind of in front of me was the high road, and I believe the other's called the road. So it's perpendicular to the highway.
So it's going to be a beautiful facility. I mean, it looks really like it's going to be nice just by looks. Of course, it's got a major function, and it's not like building an apartment building. You're building a healthcare facility, so that's a
Yes.
other kettle of fish.
Yeah, so it's a healthcare facility, long-term care facility with a UTC side. So the long-term care facility is designed, the new standards the province has put out is to feel like a residence home, more like an apartment, even something. So that's what you would see. This design is a lot more of a blending in to like a resident feel to the side and the layout and the landscape, not like you're coming into an institution. So to kind of blend into a natural environment, and the area that was selected was to capitalize on the view. It was the area that was available that had services, water line, sewer line, and the range of it. And the other requirement is saying they wanted to be relatively close to where they are now in the center of the community. So this is it's located right in the area, and it's very important to the community. So that's where everything was.
Yeah, it's functional, but it's a beautiful spot. You got an excellent view of the harbor, and it seems to be coming along pretty good. You guys, timeline seems to be going.
Yeah.
Everything's going the way it should, and
Everything.
But
Yeah, we're still in the starting phases. As you can see, we're in the foundation stuff, and we're hitting the construction season right where we want it to be as per our plan. So, if the weather holds out, we have a good construction season. We're going to be exactly where we should be by, where we should be for opening later next year.
yeah.
Thank you for watching Strait Talk. Please tune in again to find out what we will be talking about.